Hello, this is the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia. My name is Rutledge Jr., and I'm running for the Republican nomination. Now, normally I would have a podcast at this time period. It's called Republicans Married to Independence, but I felt like we need to be a little bit more interactive and, of course, give a chance for not only for me to rant, but also for me to go ahead and talk to you, the voter, those who are concerned about their constitutional rights, those who are looking for a better day, and when of course, a governor tries to take your guns away. And then also you're looking at the situation with this coronavirus pandemic, and you're trying to figure out what's the truth of the matter. Is this going to be actual pandemic concern, or are you going to be exploited for political benefit? So for me personally, being up here on this line, this is my chance to talk to you, the voter, find out exactly what you're looking for in a public official, especially somebody who's going to be running the governor's office for the near future. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to get some time to get on the line. I'm actually having a couple of lives hooked up at the same exact time, so multiple people can actually hear this actual live or see this live on different websites as well. So we're going to have live going from Instagram. We're going to have live going from LinkedIn, and of course a couple of other Facebook pages also with Paula and a couple of other networks. So we actually have a couple of different cameras at this time period to go ahead and make sure that people are aware of what is going on. And hi, Mr. Nelson, how you doing? We're going to have a couple of minutes to try to get people on the line. We're going to have a nice little quick question and answer session. I want to hear from the voters. I want to hear what is important to you, what is bothering you, because I know right now they're practicing that martial law, and I know that's a big deal to everybody. People doing 6 feet of distance, where people used to be able to walk past each other, breathe the same air, talk, communicate, socialize, go to people's houses, go out, have a beer, go on a bike ride, whatever it may be. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like this extra paranoia, this hesitation. And of course, people are worked up because they don't know what is being told to them, whether it's the truth. They say a bunch of people recover, and then all of a sudden, they see the death tolls that keep sparking back up every single time frame that it gets a chance to go ahead and be brought out there or broadcasted. So I can understand the fear. But I can say one thing, leadership is one thing to fear and have your hesitations, but you need to make sure you had those type of hesitations that you are saying to yourself, can you really handle this type of pressure? And right now, the way I'm seeing it as a bunch of governors waiting for President Trump to do every single thing, tell them when to take a bath, when to close up a shop, or basically when to do their nails. Because most of the time, friend, the only thing you hear from is bitching, talking about we ain't getting this, we ain't getting that, and all that crap. The fact is, you as a public leader has a duty to your state. There should have been certain things already done to prepare you. And obviously, Virginia, under Democrats and liberals and stuff like that, was not prepared. That's what it boils down to. And I'm not shocked about this. We have President Trump, who supposedly didn't have no experience at this, and he's kicking coronavirus ass. He's letting people know that it's time to have confidence that America is addressing and solving this problem and working hard for Americans each and every day and not getting caught up in the politics. So when it comes down to that, you start seeing what the real boilerplate of what the Democrats is doing. Right now, they're just trying to play the blame game. They trying to say they don't have stuff when they have it. Then they trying to hide the fact of their stupidity, and all while saying, oh, it's Trump's fault. But throughout the whole time frame, the only thing I've seen is bitching and whining. And that's why I made that Facebook Live before, where I was talking to the governors. I said, stop your bitching. Stop your whining. Just because you're unprepared and you're a coward, and you're trying to look for shelter by blaming a political party during a quote-unquote crisis, then that kind of lets me know who you are as a person. And sometimes when you're a Democrat, sometimes that just basically makes it even more important for why you don't vote these idiots back in to office. Plain and simple. And then also I'm starting to see that I have a new opponent, and it's another Democrat. And I said to myself, you know, she had a nice little resume. Hey, Jerome Bell, it's always good to see you. You know, it's always good to hear from you and stuff like that. I love your things at 8 o'clock each day and stuff like that. So, here. So, as far as it's concerned, we always have to see for state, Nevada, Michigan, Illinois, and all they doing is getting all this extra airtime. And all they trying to say is, oh, I'm going to whine and cry each single time frame while I'm on TV to make it look like I'm putting up a nice little fight. All they doing is trying to be the front runner in whatever kind of campaign that they got going on. It's not about the people. When you need a haircut while other politicians are going gray, hairline all messed up and everything else, and they ain't doing it for the cameras. They out there living the real life. Look at Ron Paul. He didn't look cute. He was still out there helping out a hospital after surviving coronavirus and kicking his ass. Then you got Chicago mayor out there talking about, I'm the face of your city. I said, well, if that's the case, let me see what you're wearing, because you're not wearing a body bag. Because that's exactly what you're claiming is going on in your city. But you're saying that's the face of your city. So I don't think we need to go ahead and lie about that. Then we had Nevada. Oh, that was basically just tailor-made for kicking Democrats' ass all over the place. Stop the drug and get advice from somebody who ain't even a doctor. Doesn't even have a license to practice anywhere in the United States. But he says, stop life-saving drug. So it's back to the abortion of adults also, and the elderly and kids after they're alive. So abortion is still well and alive in the Democratic Party after they are born. So in fact, what they call infecticide or whatever that Virginia governor is doing out there is trying to get done in Virginia. Basically what they're saying is it ain't good enough that we kill you before you have life. Now, we want to kill you after you have life. So why would you be voting Democrats for death? And that's what it looks like they are manufacturing all over America and benefiting off of it. So basically, when the police was riding around talking or having that siren with the purge, I thought that was classic or whatever. And then all of a sudden they had to stop it, riding around the city with the purge siren, trying to tell people to go inside. They didn't think that was a good idea. But the fact is, it sounded like they was giving out a hidden message. This is the intent of the Democrats, to purge off the voter base, the Americans, and basically hand it over to illegal immigrants. Then also, let me go back to that Chicago mayor, because I ain't through with her yet. Then she has the nerve to sign off on an executive order and basically tell the immigrants, you get everything too. Now, you claiming your city's hurting. You claiming your city's going broke. You claiming also to need a haircut and still not practice social distancing. You may have corona. Somebody needs to test you. But back to the point, because for you to make that stupid decision, I have to go ahead and give it coronavirus. Maybe you got it. But you just basically said, get the citizens in your city, be damned with the country. Let me have time to write off how many different benefits I could give you to them illegal immigrants. Now I'm starting to see this voting by mail situation. It's all a Democratic fraud. It's all to make sure Trump is not elected. This is what this coronavirus is all about. Making sure he's not elected. Making sure Republicans can't get office so they could go ahead and have their wish list. You saw their pork barrel project, which caused a block in the first stimulus package, holding up Americans, talking about we trying to save lives, but hold on, let me fund the Kennedy Center. All that stupid crap that's going on all across America. Republicans, if we can't win this election, there's something really, really wrong here. Because after a while, America's smelling the bullshit. They're like that Michigan delegate or senator out there who's thanked President Trump for the very drug he's been talking about from the beginning, saying it's effective and it's saving lives all across the country. But where was this drug when he first announced it? These states act like they're stupid. They act like they're ignorant. They act like they don't have their own pharmacies. They act like they don't have their own businesses to bring this issue up from the beginning. Nope. They waiting around for President Trump to call everybody across the globe to help them out while they sit on their ass ain't doing nothing. The only thing they're announcing at their press conference is how to take away your constitutional rights. Have you noticed that? That's all they're announcing at those press conferences. Lock down this, lock down that. How many of them are really talking about how we're going to heal and treat those in the state and use exactly what President Trump told them? They played by the playbook, but that wasn't good enough. They needed people to die in order for them to get the funding. So without the funding, they was basically going to say, we need to allow more people to die. Forget this drug, even though it's labeled to treat coronavirus. Allow people burn just so we could go ahead and have a few billion in our state treasury, have some more campaign cash, fundraise, basically try to pick apart the president. And now everybody in the country is smelling the bullshit as the way it is, just like that Michigan senator is doing right now. See, you think Trump did the right thing, said, you saved my life. Because see, when people are facing death, that's one thing you gotta say to yourself. When you facing that last measure of devotion and you giving a second chance, you start waking up to the reality. Then what I'm trying to do is wake up the Democrats and let them know, don't die. Don't get yourself into that point before you start waking up and smelling the music. Because basically success ain't good enough for Democrats because they try to destroy your ability to accomplish it. That's what it is. Not a bunch of hard talk. That's the truth. And then on the other side of things, you could be a garbage man. And that's what they want you to be. You see this lockdown, how they telling you to stay inside. That's just like them telling you how to dress and how to act. They already told you can't even get a haircut, but they getting haircuts. But that's the truth. But that's what the elitists do. They try to go ahead and tell their own people, their own citizens and stuff like that. We can control how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, how you look. That's what socialism is. It eliminates the First Amendment, your right to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, what people have fought and died for. The right of protest when Martin Luther King was going up the Selma Bridge. When all those citizens across the Commonwealth of Virginia was going to each city, town, and county for 2A resolutions. The right to protest, the right to assemble, the right to free speech, and redress of your government grievances. Start seeing the analogy there? That's what it's all about. And that's why people are switching over from Democrat to Republican. Because they're seeing their way of life, what used to be Virginia, changing. They'd rather let out criminals to kill you. Because they don't believe that you are worth living and being protected. The government's obligation ain't to provide your safety. Your first obligation is to go ahead and provide protection for you and your family. That's the way it is with God's grace. But down the line, if people keep going down this road and keep voting Democrat, because see, people think it's a race issue on the other side. So let me cut that bullshit straight on the fuck down. The fact is, people are sick and tired of trying to figure out who this person is. We have male and female. We don't need somebody who thinks one way today walking in the bathroom and saying it's okay and saying, oh, I'm not going to discriminate. Then we have the right to go to church and practice our faith. The government should be clear to have a clear separation of church and state. The fact is, if people want to worship, if they want to go to church during a crisis, that's when exactly God is needed. But they don't want to talk about that because they've been spending their time trying to take God out of everything. Then, like I said, with abortion, the reason why I protect life, all like before and after, and believe it's sacred, regardless of who you are, regardless of your background, regardless of your race, about your content of your character, and having you have the right to make decisions and choices that benefit you, but also take the consequences. But you have the right to live life to decide on which one you do. But still, at the same time frame, that's what the Democrats don't want. They want the baby killing factories in low income communities because they need the tax revenue. And not only that, they need the government funding because they've been practicing the slaughter from a long time ago. That's what really is the truth of the matter. That's why they put them in those areas. The most desperate would take the quickest decision, not looking at the fact of a lifelong death. And what that means is every single day dying for the fact that you allow your loved one to go at the hands of somebody who didn't even give a fuck. And that's what the Democrat Party is. But then they talk this crap about healthcare. That's why I don't care what Democrat gets into this campaign or into this election, because I'm going to destroy each and every one of them. And this is what I'm going to be saying in every single community, to cut down on the myths and give out the facts that people deserve to know about. Also, about smaller and more efficient government. We got too many people working in government offices, departments that need to be destroyed, that we don't need to be paying for because they don't do nothing. They don't have no teeth. They just dare to look good. We have enough people trying to sit pretty on taxpayer dime. And that business is over with. Like I said, the Department of Education, that's gone. The Bureau of Insurance, that's gone. The Virginia Judicial Review Inquiry Commission, that's gone. And if I see any other waste that I need to get rid of, that's exactly what we need to do. The reason why government is so far in your business right now because Democrats have made it bigger than life. And you're seeing it now through martial law. Government has become your dependency. They tell you, hey, you can't sell a certain amount of product right now. You can't pick up toilet paper. You can't do this, can't do that. How's socialism working for you at this time, people? President Trump trying to open back up the country while Democrats is trying to act for pork barrel projects in order to reopen their state. This is a fact, people. And people are losing their jobs. They're suffering. What is the best way to break down a citizen? Is to take everything away from them and let them know you can do it at any given time period. That isn't freedom, people. That's slavery. Right now, we are in organized liberal slavery in liberal states. There's still a master telling you how to walk, how to dress, where to go, who to gather with, where to be at, what time to go back in the house. That's exactly Democrats' racism being legislated through policy. But you want to vote Democrats, to have the same thing happen again? Then you can't complain about slavery if you're not recognizing the slavery that's happening right here, right now, today. Then we go down the list. Government officials don't want to be held accountable for what they do. They don't want to answer to the people about how they are working. So they want to deny FOIA requests and more during this time period. This is the time frame to start destroying the evidence, destroying the emails that makes them look bad because they know it's election time. That's why I'm telling people, as your governor, I will make sure most exemptions is gone. Taxpayers will know where the money's going to, and they will be able to see the contracts. Because if it was enough, like I see it all across here in Virginia Beach, the Tea Party, the Republican Party, more checking and doing the balances on these government officials about how their taxpayer dollars is being spent and why they are seeing the corruption and pointing it out. But obviously, government's been spending time putting it in the back of their priorities. The fact is, people need to be held accountable. And the best way to do it is making sure that government becomes open and transparent and smaller and more efficient, where people can double check and tell Merle Rutledge right there, send a complaint through and say that piece of crap liberal is spending up all your tax dollars and here's the paperwork because I was able to pull it. The reason why some of these people ain't in jail, people, because you can't see the evidence. That's the fact, people. That's why I bring to Richmond. That's why they're scared of them. They know I've been there and done that, and I've called them out each and every single way. And they know I ain't going to take no shit from them. And they know if you ask anybody in Richmond in any kind of city or county capacity and they hear that name, they say, you put all these people, Democrats and Republicans, in the same basket. Who are you worried about causing the most hell and raising chains? They're going to point to my picture. That's because they know I'm planning on draining the swamp and walking it dry. Just like my guns loaded speeches, I made sure people knew when I come in the building, get ready to get fired up because I ain't going ahead and mincing words. Then now, not only I'm telling people to stand your ground law because of criminals getting out of jail, the castle doctrine where you can protect your home and property, and then also the right not to retreat but stand your ground. No. And making sure people know that you are not going to be a victim today. You are armed and ready, locked and loaded to protect yourself and country as a matter of duty. If you decide to break the law and you put other people in harm's way. That's exactly how America wins and how America fights back against the bullies that keep coming up and keeps getting scapegoats throughout the schools, which, of course, I'm telling teachers right now, you're going to take back over the schools. There's going to be a zero tolerance policy for bullying. Meaning, you got a few times, then we send you to alternative school. After alternative school don't work out, you send you home. Allow the parents to be parents. Allow them to set them straight and tell the police, stop going here and whining and crying and trying to take up for a little one that's trying to go ahead and kill everybody in the school. Discipline is not the enemy. Discipline is exactly why people are here today to even talk about exactly the words of wisdom, the hard times when they did wrong. That's exactly the memory that you get back so they can stay right there on the right track and avoid it. Too many cowards today where leaders need to be. But they also talking about the fact that they can't do anything because government is so far up their ass they can't be a parent. That's exactly those talks you get at the kitchen table, not at the boardroom. And it's exactly the crap that is causing crime to spike up today and go unchecked. Right now, we having crime spike up because the criminals already know they only going to get a ride home. Our justice system is all screwed up. We have too many personal interest judges, liberal judges that basically making their own law. If they don't like a law, they'll figure out a way to make it legal. Or say it doesn't have nothing to do with the law. It's called they're doing the right thing. The fact is, it's called doing their own thing. Not using judicial restraint and showing conservative wisdom to make sure that crime has a deterrent and personal interest should always recuse itself. But too far, we have given people absolute immunity and almost power to go ahead and be corrupt and go unchecked. That's why so many people are dealing with trials by ambush, and those who are going to courts and saying that there is no justice because the judge just showed them that justice only deals with who's lying in my pocket, not in the best interest of my country and the Constitution. That's why I said we have to get rid of those boys that don't have no authority and put in those that will and get the job done and not make excuses. If you got to step on somebody's toe, that's exactly the way it needs to be. Like I said, all these different values is common all across America, all across Virginia for everybody who has lived here. People have said it in the wrong way, and it may not be right, but sometimes people have to tell it like it is. Sometimes the truth makes you angry, but you still acknowledge the fact that that anger exposed your blindness. That's exactly Democrats why you're going to be voting for Merle Rutledge, because you know things is out of control. The reason why Republicans is going to be voting for Merle Rutledge is because he's the man who they know is going to do exactly what he says he's going to do. He has a track record of raising hell. He has a track record of getting the job done. He even has a track record of holding people accountable and saying exactly, if I'm going to sit in court every single day of a trial, you murderer, I will be there each of those days before and after, and hopefully there to transport your ass straight to prison. But see, when you have punks as governors, they allow hell to go ahead and run wild. And that's exactly what's going on in New York, California, and all them other places that they let criminals go without checking their record and making sure that common sense was used. Trust me, this pandemic, if I was governor of Virginia, maybe them Democrats would let them all out. But me being governor of Virginia, their asses are staying where they at. We don't bow down to domestic or foreign terrorists. And we damn sure don't step in to put our fucking necks on the line and our citizens' necks on the line by sending out level 1 sex offenders, rapists, and murderers so they could go ahead and finish off the job if they haven't completed it. That's exactly what's going on right now in these different states. They're basically just saying when they panic, these liberal governors, when they panic, when they choke, they and also all across America, to those who ain't gonna stay in the state and spread the venom. But if they come to Virginia, that's me being governor, Virginia is going to automatically have it known. You ain't going to come and bring that liberal crap over here and think it's going to go unchecked. You ain't going to commit crime and break into people's houses and put rape and murder and pillage. Because our houses in Virginia, we got law-abiding gun owners and they know how to shoot and they know how to aim. That's why I ain't taking no firearm away from citizens after you let out the murder and rape crew. We gotta get serious, people. Y'all can have these no-name career politicians that's known for not passing one bill. You can have these politicians known for taking away your constitutional rights at a whim and creating socialism. You can have these politicians that parade around and need a haircut while they telling you to stay in your house and your hair going gray, going bad, while they could go ahead and make sure they at a salon. This is what y'all picking up there every single time frame. Y'all decide to vote for a name instead of vote for the record, vote for the person that's going to commit to change, not a fancy name named after a fox. Now, you have Hearing Fairfax. You have this new woman, Coy, who graduated from Virginia Military Institute. She's a Democrat. Might as well mention you because since you stepped your name and you stepped up into my battlefield for this campaign, you're going to get treated the same way as I treat everybody. And so far, everybody has recognized that I treat everybody the same, meaning you're not coming in without being vetted and coming in the hard way. So welcome, because you're another Democrat's ass I got to kick. We have poor leadership. You can see these cowards buckle with the coronavirus response. You can see these cowards buckle at our constitutional rights. You can see these cowards buckle anytime things hit the fan and make bad decisions. Y'all can keep voting for them pieces of crap. Leadership shouldn't have basically bowed down on our constitutional rights, and now everybody's talking about it ain't that serious, so they want to open up the country, but you bankrupt the country. Now, President Trump, now Republicans got to clean up, once again, liberal mess. And those who stay in those cities, Chicago, New Jersey, Irvington, Newark, those here in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, all across the country in them liberal cities, Atlanta, Georgia, Florida, Miami, all ran by liberals. And guess who's cleaning up the mess? Now, I ask each of y'all that live in those areas, whether you low income, middle class, high income, whatever, ask yourself, because this is my message to Democrats, ask yourself, what's changed about your city? How did they respond during this time frame? Did they respond by your family being in a body bag because they couldn't get adequate treatment because your mayor didn't know what they was doing? Your governor didn't know what they was doing, and all waiting for who they claimed didn't know what was doing. But basically, now you're seeing he knew what he was doing from a long time ago. The Democrats left y'all to burn and die and try to survive on your own. They didn't have a game plan. President Trump came up with a game plan and handled the blitz, absorbed the hit, and made sure the country had confidence while y'all was crying. We can't have no more crybabies or those who don't have the temperament and berate cops, let out criminals so the cops have to rearrest them and do double the work. And then also at the same time frame have citizens scared to be around their family and friends, came to go to a funeral. Is that the world you want to live in? Is that the leadership that says that first, not last option? Because that was their first option. Every single time frame, it looked like people's going back to normal, going back to life. Once they knew people wasn't falling dead all over the place, and that their bullshit that the liberals was pushing was starting to become more and more fraud day by day, to the point now people are wondering why the country is shut down, because people have had enough. But in these liberal states, liberal towns and counties, y'all have to ask yourself, y'all Democrats, this is what you voted for. That's what you voted for, and that's what you got. What you seen today. The money that you're getting ain't coming from them state governors, because they spent all their money on illegal immigrants, not on you. Doesn't mean the government needs to pay for everything for you, but at the same damn time period, your governors couldn't even do the basics for its own people. So what makes you think they could afford illegal immigrants on a state budget? That's common sense. Now, look at what your situation is, because Republicans already know this situation. Everything I'm saying right now, this is already known. Democrats who are moderate leaning already know they voting Republican, because this is the last time they'd experienced this in their lifetime. They would go after their guns and then lock them up in their houses. They can see slavery. Y'all keep talking about which party is the most racist. When you go outside, Democrats, and you step into a supermarket, when you try to hang around your friends and all the social distancing and the face mask, the 6 feet. Wasn't that the same damn thing when they needed chains on you? The fact is, racism could be thrown out there at any time frame, but what we got is a picture of it. And it's modern. It's now. Everybody's locked up. The only people who ain't locked up is the ones who ain't playing that bullshit, and that's me. And those who know bullshit when bullshit happens. So, this is my way of letting people know the difference between Democrats and Republicans and why we're going to win in 2020. And we're going to take that ball running in 2021. Because somebody has to call it like it is, because anybody who's been following me has been getting the accurate picture of what the hell's been going on. That Democrats and liberals try to instill fear for political benefit, but they don't have a game plan once it comes down to the real shit. Hard to be a patriot when now you're tested and you're folding under questioning. And the liberal media ain't playing no games. They could have been asking the same governors the same questions they was asking President Trump, but you don't get those answers. The reason is because all they've been doing is repeating what Republicans that they claim is destroying the country are saying and doing because they know we are right. So, any time frame you have a Republican or Democrat discussion, people, play this video for them. You can save yourself the time to say, listen to Merle Rutledge. I don't feel like talking about it. This is what destroys them and pulls out the real picture of what the devil looks like. Liberals and Democrats and their helpers. That's what that money looks like. Soros, billionaires, Cuomo, Bloomberg, all these different people funding our slavery today. But they have similar things in common. The fact is, they're billionaires and been trying to buy our elections. The same candidates who try to fundraise and all that other stuff, nothing wrong with it. But don't buy our elections. Earn it. Win each voter. Let them know what you're about. How are you going to fix the problem? What can you do better than the next person? What makes you the person I need to vote for that's going to change Richmond? Drain that damn swamp. Find each and every single state employee wasting our time and our tax dollars. And are you going to be the person who's going to make the call like President Trump been making the call and saying, you're out of there. You're fired. You're gone. We are not paying to have babysitters that doesn't even know how to watch the baby because they spend more time going to the abortion clinics. Like I said, Richmond is corrupt from the bottom up, meaning I consider Mayor Stoney the bottom, all the way up to Northam. And Republicans right now are on the sidelines needing some help, needing some breathing room. And there's going to be some people trying to screw it up. But the fact is, America is better than the leadership we have today going on with those who run those states, not who runs the federal government. Because everything that was taken away from you, because the whole country is now on lockdown. A few states is on lockdown. And what's the number one thing they have in common at the top? Democrats and bullshit. That's what it boils down to. No game plan if a disaster happens or a pandemic happens. All they know not to look at themselves first and their state first, but to keep asking the federal government to come in and bail them out. There was nothing about what President Trump said that the states could not do in them liberal areas like Virginia, Michigan. That woman whining. Trump was right to call the lady from Michigan. You want respect, you show it. But the fact is, all of them did all that fancy banning stuff while people's brothers and sisters, mothers and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers perished because they will spend time more on politics and listen to doctors. They ain't doctors, trying to make sure the body count increased. Because if you don't have a medication, you don't have a treatment, what do you think the result is going to be? And you ban it. A whole lot of blood is on Democratic hands. And I'm telling candidates, this is our time to make sure we burn Democrats' fire straight on out in 2020 and 2021. This is what America needs to know about and recognize the truth. Not so much about the fact that all this crap that's been going on right now has been just the media. Look at the very people who made the decisions for the media to have a headline. And you start asking them these tough questions. What would you have done during a pandemic? What would you have done? You're seeing it right now. There's nothing better than expert opinion and direct witness statements because we are living. That's why it's so important to have the leadership like President Trump for 2020. Biden didn't even remember what virus was going on today because he probably has a virus from his other matters. And then the rest of them liberal governors. And you say to yourself, the blood ain't on President Trump, because President Trump said exactly what will help, what needs to be done. But those governors tried to stop it. They tried to hide ventilators. Then they tried to investigate Trump for the coronavirus response, but not investigate Governor Cuomo for why those ventilators that he claimed wasn't there was there. Why a Nevada governor is hoarding up on the very drug that Trump touted for inmates, not for his own citizens. And Michigan, banning the drug that Trump said that would help and has been effective from direct witnesses. Some more people can die so they could blame President Trump. All those people in those areas need to know, candidates, who really let their own state citizens die for political benefit. Because that's exactly the truth of the matter. Them governors make me sick. They are pieces of shit. And I guarantee you, anybody else would probably say that on Facebook Live, but I've been calling them pieces of shit face to face. And they ain't gonna change one bit because I'm so pissed off. And to Black America, you see what they said, most of the Black citizens are dying. I'm so pissed off that all these citizens had to die and burn because of liberal governors that caused as much havoc based off of what Nancy Pelosi wanted done. Because after you get past those governors, you put Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them Democrats in a nice little basket. You have a basket of death, and that's what they're known for, the party of death. So that's why I'm running for governor of Virginia for 2021. No games, no gimmicks, no sideshows. If you're going to support a candidate that got a backbone and is going to show leadership and not run from a fight, because you haven't seen Governor Northam since the last time you seen President Trump. But when you saw him, he was locking something down, wasn't giving out no good news saying we was going to beat it, but because it didn't sell. So to everybody, I want you to have a great night. I want you to know that never will Merle Rutledge take away your constitutional rights for a foreign, domestic, or viral terrorist until we can kick his ass first and definitely have a game plan, not cowards that's running and hiding and begging for the federal government, not before taking care of their own state, but they taking care of legal immigrants. America comes first. Virginia comes first. And like I said, anytime, Frank, you need to ask me a question, or anytime, Frank, you need to know my opinion or thoughts on a particular issue or view, don't worry about it. Like I said, don't ask the secretary. I don't ask the aides. I'll give you a direct answer because I ain't running from you. That's like I don't run from Virginia.